Welcome to an introduction to base 10 blocks. We're just continuing with the idea that they were working with the 10 frames, where they have been taking an individual one, I'll put it up there, and filling up a 10 frame full of those ones. They've got to the idea, hopefully, at this point, that they can add on, they can fill up a 5 and then add on to get the other numbers to less than 10. They've got a benchmark or a referent of 5, and then we could add on to numbers. Once they've filled up one of those, it's kind of like filling up the 5, and then we have some more to put on there. But what we need to do is we need to get the idea of a trading in, a renaming, a regrouping, whatever word or phrase you feel most comfortable with, and that pattern is going to reoccur over and over and over again in our number system. Every time that we filled up one of these 10 frames, we now have enough to trade in one of these 10 frames for one of these rods. Now, you'll want to take some time maybe and show them that we've got a 10 frame of one side and then another one stacked on underneath. So instead of having 2 rows, we've got one long row of 10. So once we filled in one of these 10 frames, we can trade this one in for one of these big long rods. So we're going to call these our ones, our rods, and our flats. And we have a cube shape, because on our base 10 blocks they're a little tiny 1 by 1 by 1 cube. So we have a cube, a rod, and a flat. And this cube, rod, flat pattern repeats over and over and over again. So this is why back in the old days we used to put our commas between our every 3 place values. So we've got our ones, our tens, our hundreds, then we had a comma. Our thousands is now a really big cube. Our flat would be a stack of big cubes for a rod of big cubes, and the next one would be a cube of really big rods of cubes, and then we go on to our next place values. Conversely, going backwards down into the decimals, we could use, instead of the small little ones cube as our 1, we could put the really, really big cube as our 1. And then bring these down so our flats now becomes tenths, our rods become hundredths, and our cubes become thousandths. And with that idea, we could build, if we wanted to our metric system, going from millimeters all the way up to kilometers in groups of 3s, trading in 10 every single time. And that would be a pattern that we'd want to show our students.